You know, seeing, but he's actually a jolly giant, really, Chmerkin, and he really enjoys it. He's not stuffy at all. Now, Stian Grimseth, this is the man I was talking about a few minutes ago, who is the host of the Stian Grimseth Super Heavyweight Cup. The idea to have an annual mean man fight amongst all the big bad boys.
Well, he missed his opening attempt on 190, but has decided to carry on with his game plan and go ahead with 195.
But when you're in this sort of situation, I think you've got to be brave. And if he's going to get anything out of this competition, it's going to be in the snatch. And that's good. One of his big moments coming 3 years ago when he took the European snatch gold in Stavanger in Norway. But as I said, he's had a lot of injuries. He's missed an awful lot of international competitions.
Yes, so managing to hang on to that 195. And still has one lift left to possibly go further.
The world's top 4 lifters in the lineup today.
As a personal best of 260. So, you know, it's just a question of staying in the competition and staying, you know, amongst the leaders.
The only thing that concerns me about what you just said is the fact that he got injured in the Europeans, and we know for a fact that he was feeling fairly confident about the snatch, but was slightly concerned about the kilos that he would have to lift in the clean and jerk and the effect that would have on him. So I think he's a man in trouble at the moment, and Mantek's got an awful lot of work to do. Now this is Stian Grimseth. Decent lift in. This is his third and final attempt, and it's not a good one.
No, just too heavy. Not strong enough to gain enough height on the bar. So he finishes on 195.
By the way, just another thank you to Saeed from London. I'm glad you enjoyed Shaharinia's on the total running well 465. But of course, he cannot surpass that because he failed to get any of his 3 snatches. Just to remind you, this our last broadcast here on Eurosport of this year's 1999 World Championships. So in the next 20 minutes or so, to send us an email with any questions that you have, contact us here on www.weightlifting.de, and either David or myself will be very happy to answer any questions that you have. Hope you've enjoyed the action here, but still the decision to come as to who will be super heavyweight champion of the world. As you see Stian Grimseth come on to stage. Stian down with only 195 kilos at the end of the halfway stage and weighing in at 155 kilos, meaning that in fact his position was 10th when we include the people from the B ranking group from earlier on today. So Grimseth with 15 seconds on 230 kilos. And the clean and jerk standard, 262.5 kilos, David. That's not been achieved yet. The interesting point about this is Chmerkin, before the new standards were created, had actually lifted 262.5, but they wouldn't allow it to count, so they've called it the standard.
It would be
since
better
the 1st of January
to be lighter, more athletic.
Well, we've talked about it, but we probably haven't answered your question because we're, I think, undecided at this moment. I think they're really looking for Chmerkin, the Russians, to get this title. I think they'll be desperately disappointed if he doesn't do it. Was champion last year and the year before. In fact, the last 3 World Championships, Chmerkin's taken the big medal, the gold. Stian Grimseth there. He and Katarina Sederholm, who lifted in the women's super heavyweight class, the 2 big hopes for Norway. for Olympic medals, but it's not as simple as that. You actually have to succeed, because your place determines the number of points you get, and the number of points you get determines the number of places.
Yes, and that was 16th place in the B category.
But of course, once this particular competition is over, everything will be integrated for the final result. So Grimseth, this is definitely his weaker discipline. It always has been. If he's had any success, it's always been in the snatch. But to have success in the snatch, I know from talking to him, he's got to get that first lift in, and he rarely does, and it didn't happen today either. He's got a few friends from Norway here. There's a lot of adjustments and bouncing around. That's better.
I'm not sure about that left arm, and neither was the centre referee, but it's 2-1, so he now has a total. She totals out at 4.25 at the moment.
Yes, it moves him up the order into second place at the moment. Grimseth looking a bit serious as he comes out now. This is his third and final attempt at 2.35. He's on 4.25. This would take him to 4.30 and into first place for a moment at least. Come 15 seconds. Well, that's a very, very good third lift, and he's holding it there for a few seconds just to show what a strong man he is.
And that's actually a good opportunity to answer Richard from London. His question was, how long do the lifters have to stand before they get the down signal? Well, there's 3 referees in front. The lifter has to have their feet in line and be standing still. When at least 2 referees are satisfied, they press their button, the buzzer goes, and they can then put the weight down. In answer to your second question, the biggest weight ever lifted by a human being is 266 kilos.